If anyone has a good idea on how to get rid of carpenter bees, let me know. This is the only way that I have found. Did you hear about the new sport, quiet tennis? It's like regular tennis without the racket. I used a small backhoe to find my water line. Obviously I broke it, and I have 8 to 10 inches of overlap. Any ideas on what I did? I've been piddling around all morning, and as soon as I go to start digging the trench to put the hydrant in, the rain starts coming, but the clouds don't look too bad, so hopefully we're just getting a little shower. I should go blow this off, but it's not too warm out. I shouldn't have any overheating issues. When the loader's down, it doesn't come all the way out. I think we'll be good. All right, I was able to talk to the man that built this house, and the way he remembered, that water line came in right on the outside of this gate and then kind of came out through, more towards the middle here. That's the best he could remember. So I'm just going to do some slow digging, see what we can find. As we get digging here, it's always tough to look for water lines that are perpendicular. The reason why is most buckets have these teeth on them like you see right there, and those can get hung up on the water lines, and that's exactly what we see happen later in this video. If you can dig the water lines parallel, usually those teeth will slip to one side or the other if you get on the water line before you can see it and then start hand digging. Every now and then, if you're digging parallel and one of those teeth catch on a coupler, it'll rip the water line there, but if I had to do this over again, I would turn the tractor 90 degrees and dig parallel with the water line. And the rain was coming down a little bit heavy, so I was just considering getting off the tractor. But on this scoop here, I felt a rock at the bottom, and I thought, well, I'll get this rock out of the way and then jump off the tractor. Watch what happens when I try to get that rock. Yep, right under that rock was the water line. So the tooth of that bucket caught the water line, and that's the little spray of dirt and water that you've seen. So I'm head on down to shut off the water. So I did not plan on busting the water line, but I did. So I'm gonna have to dig this out, get that water out of there, and go from there. There you can hear the rock that I was trying to move before I jumped off the tractor. When I started this job, I had no plan on getting muddy. It's looking like it's going to be a muddy afternoon. Let me go grab a shovel. Beans, I'm not ready to fill the hole in yet. Well, I've done better putting in water lines. I'm going to clean a little bit of that out. I'll try to move a little bit of this dirt that's above the water line, and you'll notice the bucket I raised just a little bit so those teeth do not connect with the water line. Well, my water line disappeared. And here's where the bad news hit. You see there's about 8 to 10 inches of overlap. That can only mean when the tooth caught that water line and pulled on it, it pulled it apart at another coupling somewhere down the line. All right, I want to replace a good bit of that because it got jerked pretty good. There's a little bit of damage to that pipe right there. I'm gonna hope the rest of that is pretty good. And here looks like a little bit of damage, so I'm gonna replace about 2.5, 3 foot of that. No, I don't need any help. It's been pouring down rain since I started this, but I've never used one of these compression fittings. Let's see. I think I can get one more turn out of that. All right. You know, if you haven't put these in before, the most important thing to keep your line from breaking is to keep some rock, some gravel, something that allows the water to drain out of this weep hole. So there's a little plunger right there. When you lift the handle, that handle opens up the plunger and allows water to come in through the water line up through here, which the Woodfords are hot dipped galvanized on the inside and outside. So if you want to put in a hydrant that's going to last, go ahead and put in a Woodford. When you close this, what keeps these from freezing is the water drains down out this weep hole right here, and then there's no water in here to freeze. I'm going to get this side put in, then I'm going to have to clean and cut that other side. So I'm going to dig this little bit here from the side, but try not to throw a bunch of dirt on it. Okay, that means let's get this cleaned up a little bit. Let's see here what we're gonna do. First, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Thought I brought the sandpaper down here. Those little burrs can leave you with all kinds of problems. Okay. Things drop it. See, I want to take that out just a little because I want room for my mower. There we go. Bottom of that trench nice and smooth to give that pipe something to lay on. Oh, I've put in quite a few water lines, and I frame them up differently. Usually when I put the Woodford Iowas in, I use a T-post rather than a wood post because more than likely this is going to outlast a piece of lumber. So I usually go ahead and add a T-post to keep that thing from moving, because the two most important things besides making sure there's no leak is to make sure you get gravel around that weep valve, and make sure there's no movement or as little movement as possible when you go to turn your water on or cut it off. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go put that hydrant in. And she said, can you wait a couple of days? Told her, you know how many water lines I repaired. The only time the water is going to be shut off is when I go to cut that and then put the splice in to get over here to the new hydrant. And she says, I do know how many water lines you've repaired. That's why I'm asking you to wait a day or two. I said, don't worry about it. It'll be quick. Be shut off no more than 20 minutes. Since then, we've gotten about 45 minutes of rain and I had to go to Lowe's. But we're going to go turn it on now and see. Beans, come on. He somehow just knows. Kind of crazy. If I could teach him to open that gate, that'd be even better. Stay. I sit here for an uncomfortable amount of time till I came to the realization that the meter was not going to stop spinning. But what I thought was maybe there was a faucet left on in the house since the water was shut off. Maybe someone in there was checking to see when it was on. So I put the lid back on and go back to the house and see if any of the faucets were left on. But really what this was, I forgot that I pulled the pipes apart when I initially found the water line. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've always lived in homes with very long water lines from the meter to the house. So I'm no stranger to trying to find water leak. What I have learned works the best is about the halfway point, cut it and cap it. Go check the meter. If it's spinning, it's between the meter and the part that you cap. The meter is not spinning. There's no leaks in that part. And then you can decide to either cut the next section in half or just start spot digging and see if you can find the leak. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just finding the leak. Doesn't matter what side it's on. All right. That'll be good and dry by the time we get down there. So if the leak is on the side where we blocked it from, this thing will keep on spinning. Nope. So even that little real sensitive dial, that's not moving a bit. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So if I find the leak, I can go ahead and splice it without coming back. Okay, I have to have a little stick cut that where I capped that end off. I'm going to cut this right about here. Come down here, get this one. We just gotta go fix that where we capped it off and we should be good. I don't have as much wiggle room with the pipe. I think I can get it though. That's a little tight. Man, I wish I had my PVC cutters. Well, let's see how we did. Pretty good. See if we have any water. We have water. And there's the water draining out of that weep valve. Are you peeing where I'm going to be working? As we said a number of times, the important thing here is to keep that weeper valve surrounded by rocks, stone, whatever you have, where the water can drain from that pipe below the frost line. Then right here I'm backfilling behind that piece of plastic, and you can see how windy it is. That's down in a hole about, I don't know, 2 foot or something like that. So the wind was real bad and it was making all this racket. It's like regular tennis without the racket. In the speaker in my camera. Kind of windy out here. It's kind of funny how things work. I almost went and got a couple of buckets of water to sprinkle in here before I realized that I have a hydrant with working water here. So one last thing to do is to go ahead and backfill all these trenches that I dug for the water line, plant some grass seed, and it'll be wrapped up. I'm finishing up the leveling here, and then I decided I needed a little bit more dirt, so I went out to the compost pile, and that had not fully turned to topsoil yet, so I had to turn it a few times to get down to where we had some good composted dirt. Adding some good old Kentucky 31. I just got all that spread. I'm anxious to see how this does because I've had this for probably 3 to 4 years. If after 3 or 4 years it's going to germinate, we'll find out. Well, I guess that's it for now. I'll give you some updates on this whenever I get it finished, and some grass starts coming up. Next week, I plan on finally getting the garnet planted. So as always, thanks for watching.